5 tragic plane crashes in Japan. Number 1. Japan Airlines Flight 123, 1985. On August 12, 1985, Japan Airlines Flight 123, a Boeing 747SR, departed from Tokyo's Haneda Airport bound for Osaka. As the aircraft ascended into the twilight, passengers settled into their seats, unaware that within minutes disaster would strike. A sudden, deafening explosion tore through the fuselage. A failure in the rear pressure bulkhead sent shockwaves through the aircraft. The vertical stabilizer ripped away, and the pilots fought desperately to regain control, but the hydraulics had been rendered useless. For 32 agonizing minutes, the plane lurched and twisted, a helpless behemoth in the sky. Some passengers scribbled farewell messages to loved ones as the aircraft plunged toward Mount Takamagahara. The impact was catastrophic. Of the 524 people on board, only 4 miraculously survived, clinging to life amidst the wreckage. Investigators later uncovered a chilling truth. Improper repairs by Boeing engineers after a 1978 tail strike had weakened the bulkhead, dooming the aircraft. Although no criminal charges were filed, Boeing and Japan Airlines faced a storm of lawsuits. The aviation world took heed, leading to sweeping reforms in aircraft maintenance and emergency response protocols. Number 2. All Nippon Airways Flight 58, 1971. July 30th, 1971 was a sunny afternoon when All Nippon Airways Flight 58, a Boeing 727, soared through the sky over Shizukuishi, Iwate Prefecture. Below, families gazed up, watching as the silver giant glided effortlessly. Suddenly, a military jet, a Japan Air Self-Defense Force F-86, pierced the sky in a training maneuver. In a heartbeat, the unthinkable happened. A sickening crunch echoed through the heavens as the fighter jet collided with the passenger plane, slicing through its fuselage. The Boeing 727 disintegrated midair, sending flaming debris hurtling toward the ground. All 162 souls aboard perished in an instant. The jet pilot, though ejected and survived, was later found guilty of professional negligence, serving as a grim warning of the dangers of shared airspace. This horrific accident led to stricter regulations ensuring military and civilian aircraft remained distinctly separate, preventing future catastrophes of this kind. Number 3. China Airlines Flight 140, 1994. On April 26, 1994, China Airlines Flight 140, an Airbus A300, approached Nagoya Airport on what should have been a routine landing. The pilots, seasoned veterans, communicated in clipped professional tones, but as they prepared for touchdown, a single mistake sealed their fate. With one accidental command, the go-around mode was engaged, and the aircraft's nose began to rise ominously. Panic gripped the cockpit as the pilots wrestled with unresponsive controls. The plane stalled, an eerie moment of silence before the inevitable plunge. A deafening crash followed. The airport became a scene of chaos as emergency responders battled flames and wreckage. Of the 271 people aboard, only 7 survived. The investigation exposed a fatal reliance on automation and miscommunication between pilots. While no criminal charges were pursued, China Airlines faced numerous lawsuits leading to reforms in cockpit training and autopilot protocols. Number 4. Japan Airlines Flight 471, 1972. June 14, 1972, Japan Airlines Flight 471, a Douglas DC-8, sliced through the night sky, its destination London, with a stop in New Delhi. As the aircraft neared Palam Airport, the city lights twinkled below like scattered diamonds. The pilots, navigating an unfamiliar airport, miscalculated their descent. With a sudden jolt, the aircraft dipped too low. Too late. The DC-8 smashed into the ground in a fiery explosion, sending shockwaves through the airfield. The aftermath was grim. 86 lives lost, including 11 Japanese citizens. Survivors recounted scenes of panic and smoke-filled horror. The disaster underscored the importance of precise approach procedures and led to improved navigation aids and pilot training. Number 5. TWA Flight 800, 1964. On August 12, 1964, TWA Flight 800, a Boeing 707, soared over the vast Pacific en route to Tokyo. In the dead of night, as passengers dozed and flight attendants moved quietly through the aisles, disaster struck. A sudden explosion from the right engine ignited a deadly inferno. Flames licked at the aircraft as alarms blared. The crew fought desperately, but the fire spread with merciless speed. With a final harrowing plunge, the aircraft was swallowed by the ocean near Wake Island. All 73 on board perished. Investigations pointed to an engine failure, and while lawsuits followed, no criminal charges were brought. The disaster reinforced the critical need for rigorous engine inspections and improved fire suppression technology. Though the pain of these losses endures, they have shaped the modern era of safer sky travels. Today, each lesson learned from these disasters stands as a tribute to those who perished, ensuring that their stories were not in vain. The skies, once marred by tragedy, now stand as a safer passage for millions who journey above the clouds. Thank you for watching a very tragic story. See you in our next video.